Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And for a second time in the studio, Ron.
What's happening?
New pod record.
I know, he won't be on the next one. He'll be out of the country for the next one. But we're good to go here.
I'll be in the country.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
That's
next
right.
year,
He'll be on the
California.
West Coast. All right, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
so bad. So this is our Premier League 2017-2018 wrap-up special.
What a season it was.
But I'm going to stop you right there. Because normally we say we're going to talk about, we do our beer pick of the pod tied into whatever, and this year will be tied into the season.
Right.
But I have a pre-beer pick of the pod.
Pre.
How
So that's
How does that work?
Before I get to the beer that is tied into this season
Okay.
somehow, I have a beer that is tied into the fact that this is our third Premier League wrap-up and our show's second anniversary. 2 years we have been doing this.
Oh, okay.
Because our first episode was Premier League wrap-up for
So that would have been
Leicester's
first
year,
Yeah.
for 2015-16. Then we did 2016-17, and this was 17-18.
Okay.
So I
Man,
have...
time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Holy mackerel.
So I have a special beer before we do the pod. This is sort of an anniversary beer, a little celebration beer for us.
All right.
This is a special beer from a brewery we've had, Dogfish Brewery. But
Oh, they always make the weird out of there.
brother, we ain't had this.
Oh, Lord. Were they the ones that made Sweet Baby Jesus?
No, that was
no.
Dewclaw.
Dewclaw, sorry.
So this particular beer is a very special beer because it is not a limited release. It is a rare release by them.
Ooh, snap.
Dun, dun, dun.
I bought a few that existed back in 2009. This beer has aged for 9 years because it is an 18% alcohol by volume.
God.
There's our first bleep of the pod.
Is it even considered a beer at 18%?
It is, although some people do
What
say
switches that over to
It should have switched over to malt liquor.
a malt liquor? Yeah.
but it's not.
Malt
It's
liquor.
not. And here it is, gents. Vintage 2009 Dogfish Head Worldwide Stout, a very dark beer brewed with a ridiculous amount of barley. So here from their website, yes, first brewed in 1999, it is different every year. This year is a specifically good vintage year and raced highest 2006, 2009, and another one, I forget which, are some of the best. So this 2009 batch is one of the best. It says, yes, this is the beer you've heard so much about. Brewed with a ridiculous amount of barley, Worldwide Stout is a dark, roasty, and complex beer. This ageable ale clocks in between 15 and 20% ABV. This particular year is at 18. And has a depth more in line with a fine port than with a can of cheap mass-marketed beer. Worldwide debuted in the winter of 1999, and the staying power, so this is on its 10th anniversary. So Worldwide debuted in 1999, and staying power of this brew is undeniable. Like their Fort on 120-minute IPA, Worldwide Stout only gets better with age. After some time in your beer cellar, the heat of the booze fades into the background, and the port notes of roastiness take over. Worldwide Stout goes great with or as a dessert. Share one with someone you love. I love you guys.
Hey, love you too, man.
It's best served in a snifter. Its aroma is a roasted malt, coffee, and licorice. Flavor, roasted malt, subtle coffee notes. Mouthfeel, slightly coating with a lingering bitterness, slightly dry, sweet, and warming. Although here's the thing, it changes every year. How it is. Like it's like a wine, like how a wine vintages are very different. That's how this one is. So we only have a 12-ouncer. Because when I used to
So we all don't have
we don't. We are going to split one. We're going to
18% per weebie. Woo!
Yeah, we're going to split this
We
one
still have a long day ahead of us.
12-ounce bottle. And I got this when I lived in Pennsylvania from a bar that I was near. That just won Bar of the Year this past year. The Bull's Head
cool.
pub that Ron and I have talked about in Lidditz, Pennsylvania.
It's awesome.
Traditional pub owned by a chap from Liverpool. No TVs in the pub. You're supposed to, music's quiet. You're supposed to get to know and talk to your neighbors like a traditional pub. The only time there's a TV there was during the World Cup. Super, super cool place. And so I got a phone call from one of the bartenders when I lived there saying, hey, just so you know, this very rare beer is on draft, and we have one of 2 kegs in Pennsylvania. Awesome. So get there quick. So I got to go there and try some on tap, and then bought a bottle because they had a few bottles with the intent of aging it for a special occasion.
Awesome.
And so here we go.
Huh.
2 years into the Brewtiful Game. So like I said, this is a 12-ouncer. I've got us some snifter glasses.
You got one over there, Blake?
Yep, I got one. So here, put yours over here. That way I can kind of pour these out together. But I am very excited to try this. I tried the 2009 on draft. I obviously did not try this aged, as that was 2009 when I got it.
Smell it.
So this one, as I said, this particular year is at 18%. This has been with me for a while, and I have just been staring at it, trying to figure a good time. And then this morning, we're getting everything ready for our Premier League day, getting the pies prepped and everything. And I looked at my wife and said, you think I should do this beer today for this one? I said, it's kind of our 2-year anniversary. I don't know how I wasn't thinking of it like that, but it is. Don't let that go to waste. And so I just thought this was a good time to crack this bad boy out.
I think the last beer we aged purposefully was the St. Bernardus App 12, right? The 60th anniversary.
Yes,
we
the 60th
that.
anniversary.
Yeah.
We saved that for a good long time.
This is rarer.
Yeah.
We're in rarefied air, boys.
And what's funny is you can try and buy their sellers who age these, and you can try and get them.
Boy, it's dark.
It smells.
It smells like 18%.
Oh man. But as they said, it's supposed to mellow the alcohol.
It smells like a sweet nail polish remover.
It's funny you say that because
That woke me up.
I got an article that someone said something, or because they review a bunch of different ones throughout different years. That was mentioned. They said the 2006 was the most drinkable. This one, though, had the most fun flavor. It was rated 2009. But you can tell I think that smell you're getting, though, is like that hint of licorice vibe, which is sweet, is licorice has got the sugar in it. But this smells like a stout, but it smells like a robust stout. So here we go, gents.
Cheers.
To 2 years of the Brewtiful Game.
Congrats.
Cheers.
Lunch.
Wow. They're not kidding when they talk about it being like a dessert port.
That is like a dessert port.
I'm not saying like it's flavored like a port.
It's still changing flavors.
Yeah, it is.
But it's got that fuzzy slippers by the fire vibe.
Ooh,
like you just sit there.
Thickness to it, and
Yeah, you just sit there and sip this thing. So feel intelligent as we sit back and sip our Pinky's out beer.
I do say, Jans, I watched a level game of football today.
Oh, so very different. And then I have a fun beer a little bit later when we wrap this up. I have a feeling we're gonna sip on this one just a little bit.
I bet as it warms up, it's going to get much different.
But this is way smoother than an 18% beer.
Yeah, it should not. It's not snapping your head back with the alcohol content.
You definitely get the licorice vibe, a little hint of the coffee from that roasted barley.
So good.
And it's got a not syrupy, like a very thinned syrup mouthfeel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in this beer. Dogfish Head Worldwide Stout.
Man, it's phenomenal.
And you know what? It kept its carbonation.
Yeah, it did.
9 years.
9 times.
So
Anyone?
No?
9 times.
What's the boat on that one?
9 years.
Ferris Bueller.
Oh, Ferris Bueller. I should have known. It was either going to be Weird Science or Ferris Bueller or Ghostbusters. That's usually Ron's go-tos.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, and we'll get to some fun beer paired for the season in just a moment. Now it is time to do our wrap-up of the 2017-2018 Premier League season.
It was a pretty good season, all things.
Considering our first show was a holy crap, guys. We're doing our first episode, and we're talking about Leicester being champions. That's crazy. Who'd have seen that coming? To this year of, we saw Man City coming for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been talking about them for 2 years.
I mean, How best you gents want to do this? You kind of want to walk down the table here?
Yeah, I figure that's probably best. Just a little quick hits on each in the table, kind of let everybody know where everybody finished and points and so on and so forth.
And it should be said, I don't have the stat. We saw it thrown up, though, the crazy, as we start with Man City at top, records.
I got it.
You got it? That they broke for this year. As they finished season first, champions, obviously, 79 goal differential, good Lord, and 100 points for the season.
Absolutely crazy.
That is a new record since the Premier League has been in existence.
So Manchester City's Premier League records broken this season. In points, the previous record was 95. This season for Man City, 100 points, which is awesome. First time triple digits. Wins, previous record was 30. This Man City puts 32 up this season. Goals, 103 was the previous, 106 for Man City this season. Goal differential, previous record was 71 goals, and this one, Man City has 79. It's just crazy. The title winning margin, the previous record was 18 points, and this season, 19 points.
It's going to be a bit if we see that capped again.
Yeah, that one's going to hold out for a while, unless Man City goes and breaks all those records again next season.
Maybe. I think it's going to be harder because I think, as we'll talk about, I think next year should be fun. I foresee some of these clubs making it a much tighter race for next year.
You would certainly think so. Yeah.
But
I would hope so.
But Man City,
right?
I mean, in a way, we've kind of stopped talking about them for a while because, unless something crazy happened, like they lost or, the draw last week. But they were fantastic. Annoyingly, I enjoyed watching them play. They were so good.
They just, they won the league in style.
Yes.
And they did it high flying. They did it with a lot of goals.
There was no
good build up play, good passing, solid goalkeeping. I mean, they did it in a way that was very, very impressive.
If this sticks, I wonder if, with all the talk of Arsene Wenger changing the Premier League, the way what he brought to the league 22 years ago, I wonder if Pep will end up changing things in a more, exciting, fast-paced style of play.
Well, I think he certainly set the bar for possession-oriented attacking football.
This is what he's been known for in the times with, when he was at Barca and Bayern and all.
He's done this within, a couple of years? 2 years he's been there, coach?
2 years.
2 years, yeah, second year. That's crazy. I mean, I know he inherited a lot of good players, but
they made a lot of strategic, smart things, picking up other players like Walker, who helped anchor that defense for them. And their attacking core is just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm like taking the smallest sips of this beer. And it is a million friggin' flavors going on.
This is not a gulping beer.
No. That's tasty.
Ooh, no, it's definitely a sipping beer.
So, yeah, Man City, amazing.
What else to contemplate over the season? Yes, Bisman.
Where's my gros poupon? Manchester United in second place, 38 games played, plus 40 goal differential, and 81 points.
39 goals away from the team above them. Yeah, that's insane. But that's a Jose Mourinho team, which is typically known for, you don't usually score a ton of goals. You play defensively well. So, but still, just that's so crazy.
And by all accounts, a very good year for Manchester United. Just overshadowed by the team in the same town.
Points and goal differential, one of their best years.
Yeah. One of his best years since this is Sir Alex days. I think there was a stat that showed up the first 3 seasons after Sir Alex. Their highest finish was like fourth or fifth or something like that, and their highest point total was only at like 70 or something. I mean, within 2 seasons, Jose's won two cups, maybe a third next Saturday. 81 points, second in the table, plus 40 goal difference. They had the most clean sheet, or David De Gea had the most clean sheets. So
Golden Glove winner.
Yeah, he won the Golden
Glove winner. So I would assume that means that United had the most clean sheets in the league. that's good season, very good season, and in a final of a big cup. Yes, he plays some boring style ball, and yes, he's an ass, but I like Jose. I'm glad that he is our manager, and in his 2 years, he hasn't gone backwards. He hasn't stayed static. He is going up. I'm fine with it.
The Premier League needs Jose.
Yeah, it does.
It's better without him.
And did you see him today? He looks like he should be having this beer in front of a fire, watching the Masters or something. Like just nice cardigan over him, hair nicely coiffed.
You just wanted to say coiffed.
You want to say coiffed again, yeah.
Damn right.
Speaking of this beer, though, and being fancy, it is taking on the port characteristics.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right, Ferris.
Sir.
What do you think Manchester United needs to improve upon the most for next season?
They need to... I think they need to work on the Michael Carrick role.
He retired this season and is joining or at the end of this season and is joining the coaching staff.
Yes. I think they need to fill that somehow. They need a partner next to Nemanja Matic. That could be Ander Herrera, so maybe you just go with depth. But you need somebody else in there protecting the back four. You could also use a big name center back as well, I feel like. But those, I think, would be the two most areas in which we need help. I mean, if we let Martial go, then we could be in for another winger of types, Gareth Bale.
The rumor has it for Martial that he would be in a swap with Christian P.
I haven't seen that one, but I'd be perfectly happy with that. Yeah, I think that'd be great. But I think, I mean, we have attackers. Somebody maybe else to back Lukaku, but is that Rashford? Maybe he gets played in that central role. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting offseason to see kind of what they do. How do you go into the market and retool to close that? What did you say? 19-point gap.
I was going to say.
That's
I mean,
tough.
I don't even know that you have a ton of changes to make. I think you just need Man City to not exist. And I'm not. I mean, like that's a championship winning team any other year.
Right.
So I don't think there's a ton of changes you make. I think you just you fill in those little gaps that you might be missing, or you may be missing, like with Carrick.
Right. And if everybody stays, I mean, it's tough, but if everybody stays healthy and plays to their potential, if you think about the first, what was it, 5 or 6 games that United played? 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 3-0. You know, it was high flying, very, very good stuff. Pogba was on the top of his game in those first 4 games. He got hurt, and I think once he got hurt, it was all downhill from there. Pogba's kind of like that De Bruyne for City. He can make things happen. And then they just never really found the right formation, or they just never really clicked after that injury. Mkhitaryan then fell off. So it just, I don't know. You have to stay consistent all year. And you got to bring in 1 or 2 key players. That'll hopefully make up the 19.
You cannot lose and draw to those clubs that you have no business doing that to.
Right.
Because that's where the one above you would just start to leave you in the dust.
Right.
Yeah. All those lower league teams that you drew or dropped points to.
Which is actually a good segue to our next club, which is Tottenham, who end in 3rd place with 46 goal differential and 75 points. A great season that still feels like to me. I mean, today their match against Leicester,
high
they were
score,
owning Leicester, and then all of a sudden they barely beat them 5-4. That was what a crazy game. But that's kind of, I mean, the Spurs could have lost or drawn that so easy.
Yeah, especially since Leicester had such a good late barrage of chances. They could have drew that very easily.
I just don't see Tottenham, even if they don't lose a single person, finishing the season above Man City, Man United, or I'm going to say Liverpool either for next year.
I don't know about Tottenham. I mean, they had another good year. No silverware still. best team in London.
Will they start losing players because of those?
Will they lose them in this offseason? I don't know. I think you can hang on to the Kanes, Ericssons, Alis for another year. I think some of the other players, maybe Dembele and Alderweireld are going to leave in the offseason. But I think you hang on to that kind of core attacking three there. And will they bring in other players to support them and kind of push them up over that line and get them into contention to win the Premier League? I don't know.
They typically have seasons like this, except they end up having a worse end to the season, and that ends up tumbling them through the table a little bit. This was a great consistent season, but there was nothing that was particularly, nothing that jumped out.
Individuals stood out, but as a team, even in the first, 10 weeks, no one's talking about could Tottenham do it this year. It's just, and you feel like with who they have, they should. So I don't know. They've got to keep
going into a new stadium again
and Champions League.
They'll be going. Yeah, so we'll see.
And you have to expect that Harry Kane is going to be the starting striker for the World Cup for England.
Yeah.
Who else would it be?
As long as he stays fit.
Him and Vardy are going to be your two that are probably, that's who will sub out for him. Who's actually ended up having a good season and no slouch again this year. But yeah, Tottenham, just, I don't know. Because they got Champions League, they might retain a lot of these players, but also, how will they do with Champions League with split focus?
Well, they did all right.
They did okay this year.
And they were in, if you remember, they were in a tough group. They were in a Real Madrid, Dortmund group, and they got out of that and almost beat Juventus in the knockout stages. So, I think they split it very, very well. I think they just need a little bit extra depth and need another big player to kind of slide in there next to the Kane, Ali, and Ericsson combo.
And Song, right?
And Son, yeah. But if you can add, think about it. We name 4, and then where do you go from there? Look at a city. You can name 6 offhand and fit them anywhere in that front.
United's
three, right?
The same way.
So, I don't know if United's quite the same way, but yeah, I think we want to see Tottenham do well. It's just, what do they do to get past those other big clubs up in Manchester?
More than they did this year.
Yeah.
That brings us to 4th. Liverpool, 37 goal differential, 74 points. I feel like Liverpool, I don't know. If it's like a 3-way run between Man City, Man United, and Liverpool's just, in 2 years, what Pep pulled off in 2 years is great. So is it with Liverpool. In 2 years, Klopp has gotten them into the Champions League and now has them in the Champions League final and back into the Champions League, regardless of what happens in the final.
Right.
That's pretty impressive for a club that was having a lot of problems for several years,
And they're 4th.
And to me, Pep and Klopp are like that view of the new Premier League, that attacking play.
Right. And their 4th place, it feels better than it is.
Yeah.
Or it feels better than where they're placed, because they've had Salah and Firmino and this high fly attacking style of play all year. They're in the Champions League final. But you would think that for all that, they would be higher than 4th. But it came down to the last day, and they almost didn't get in.
Hey, the clubs above them got to stop worrying about the Champions League. They kept going. You know what I mean?
True,
I feel like it's a good finish.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And some amazing players. And the thing Klopp's doing is his players are getting better. Look at Oxlade-Chamberlain compared to what he was doing at Arsenal.
Right.
Trent Alexander-Arnold has had a great year.
Salah's first year in the Premier League, or back in the Premier League.
Solanke has been on a great run of form.
Mm-hmm. Van Dijk has come in on a big price tag and
the stock
has done very well.
And eyeglasses has gone up for the amount that he's broken while hugging players.
Yes, valid argument.
There's just their bench is or their depth is really good. So I think they're going to be good, really good next year.
Yeah, and they've already, if you guys forgot, they already have a new big player coming in, Naby Keita, who signed for them last year, but won't join until this summer. So that's already one signing. And then I believe, didn't I see they already signed the Lyon striker winger?
Did that go through?
I don't know if it went through yet or not, but if they sign that, that's two very quality players adding to...
Who?
Right, exactly.
I left to go play in the Champions League. Whoops. Now, as we get into the next clubs, I would say, I know we have some predictions to go over from our last pod. A year ago, we made or did we make our predictions at the beginning?
Not a year ago. The beginning of the season.
Beginning of the season, we make our predictions.
Like in our Premier League preview, we do it.
So are we going to go over the predictions we made?
Yes, but they're down the way there.
I would just say that I think this top four is in some form or fashion will be the top four next year too. I'm not so sure about. It really depends on what happens with Chelsea and their manager situation, and same with Arsenal. Yeah. I think that is such a wild card situation floating out there. I really think the top four you're staring at is. I don't know the order, but it is a good shot. That's your top four.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, the summer will tell, but
I would argue that, and I would argue you're largely correct. The only thing I would like to see is I would like to see Burnley challenge for the top four.
Oh, yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we'll get to those guys. I know. Let's burn through 5 and 6 so we can get to 7. We like them.
The dumpster fire that is 5 and 6, right?
5 and 6, right? Still, into Europa, got you. But boy, does it feel like it does feel like a bit of a dumpster fire, these two spots. So fifth spot, Chelsea, 24 goal differential, 70 points.
Absolutely slammed.
What a terrible day today
by Newcastle. Just Chelsea didn't look like they cared in the least. The lineup was kind of shaky at best. I think one of the biggest problems Chelsea's had probably since January is a lack of consistency in their lineup, and
getting rid of Matic.
Well, that happened early on.
I know, but
that
to me that feels like
that was a big loss.
That was a huge loss. Yeah,
and
I
Costa,
agree.
Both huge.
Well, yeah,
losses.
you got rid of Costa. Although, I mean, I feel like there was that's not on Chelsea necessarily. Seems like there was a two-part situation with that, with Costa being
manager
Costa and
player.
Yeah. Risk. So I mean, I don't know that you can pin that on Conte specifically or Chelsea getting rid of him, but they did not replace with.
There's also a lot of weird front office stuff going on.
Well, like the stuff Conte says about I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I'm an aggressive coach. I want to go out and win. But they don't want to give me the money to do that.
Well,
and make choices.
Yeah. And you kind of saw that with, didn't your chief director, Michael Empanola
yes.
Remember. Yeah. But didn't he leave it this past year as well?
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of the catalyst that helped bring in a lot of big names on that side. So
yeah, it's tough. A lot of the news reports are that even in the year that Conte was a first year champion, people were already talking about his replacement. And if you're a manager of a new club and you are winning the league and they're talking about replacing you, that doesn't bode well.
But that's
for
also
you.
Abramovich's MO at Chelsea that he's given to himself.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
He's fired and rehired Jose. He's got some.
I think that's part of our problem is that,
and it's a problem that whoever steps in behind Conte's gonna have. Yeah,
as a manager, you're always looking over your shoulder. Every 2 years, we replace a manager, and how do you go in there with any confidence that you can do anything meaningful with the team when you're constantly fielding questions about whether or not your job is safe?
And how does the team take you seriously when you got players that are like, I've been through 3 of you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% true. I think largely the team was lackluster at best all season. We had a few hard workers, and we had some very bright spots in the season, but by and large, a lot of stuff has to change.
Yeah, I think that's a big question mark until you see what happens with the manager.
Yeah,
whether that is they keep Conte and give him the money, but I don't know if that'll happen.
I don't know. You're going to have to do a lot to help Conte turn his perspective and his attitude around. He's always been fair. He's never trashed the team outright or the front office, and has always said, even today in the post-match interview, when they said, is this your last day with Chelsea Football Club? He said, no, I have a contract. I'm committed.
And they're in a bad spot in the sense that Arsenal and Chelsea are both looking for someone. It's two big clubs.
Yeah.
There's only so many big names floating out there right now.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the summer unfolds. My bet is that he ends up going. I mean, I think
so. Yeah.
I think he probably is miserable. I mean, as you can tell, last season, just look at the difference.
We wouldn't have wine with him last season.
He was crowd surfing with fans last season.
This
season, he was
sad.
Muted at best.
You saw that for a glimmer in the Liverpool game a few games back when they had a hope of getting into the Champions League. But how do you think that bodes for next Saturday in the FA Cup?
Not well.
My money is on Manchester United in a big way. A couple of goals.
Certainly hope so, but
yeah, I think after this tumultuous run of form in the end of the season, and the utter lack of confidence, like there are players, feeding. Today, Azpilicueta fed a beautiful ball through to Eden Hazard, and Eden Hazard just gave up on it. And the looks that they gave each other weren't good. So that's happening all over the place. Morata isn't really pulling his weight, and the only person who seems to be able to deliver anything to him is Azpilicueta. So if you know that's coming, you just shut down Azpilicueta. You completely stop all service to Morata, and Morata's not going to score. So I really don't. I think between the lack of consistency in the lineup, the lack of cohesiveness of the players, our defense was a complete shambles today. I really don't see it being all that competitive in FA Cup.
Well, I guess part of the question was, I think he makes it to the FA Cup.
We have a correction to make.
Hit it.
I think your numbers are a little off on the table.
That's possible.
It should be that. Sorry, I think it may not have had updated numbers because some of the tables, because of the people hitting the Premier League, Man United had 81 points, Tottenham had 77 points, Liverpool had 75. Chelsea at 70. I think we had 72 for Liverpool.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah. Yes. And it would have put Tottenham on a plus 38, Liverpool on a plus 46.
I'm going to go from the Premier League one. Yeah. You might want to pull up that.
Yeah, that's what I was going off of, but it may not have been updated.
I don't think it had
at the
updated
time in terms of the stats off to the side.
Yeah, it looks like it just updated.
Yeah. So I think Conte stays for the FA Cup because I think if you have any hopes of drawing or winning, well, you can't draw the final, but I think if you have any hopes of winning, it's going to be with Conte. Who else are you going to put in there to try and rally into the FA Cup?
I would agree. If they lose, I think he's gone within the week. If he wins, 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know if a win's going to buy him another year. Nor do I think he would want to necessarily stay another year.
Yeah, I don't think he wants.
If the relationship between him and the ownership's that bad.
Yeah, I think the ownership and the board need to really sit back and examine their football club. It's also interesting that every 2 years the players get all, for lack of a better term, the players get all pissy, and we just lose complete motivation in our second year.
That's happened under Jose as well.
Yeah.
So at some point, fingers got to be pointed towards them, towards the players, and go, there's an attitude issue here.
I agree 100%. I think the players know that if they, just kind of fold up and relax, they've been taught by the ownership that, they'll change the instead of trying to make it better and support it, they'll just change everything out. And then the players are good for a season. They play amazing. The stat was in the past 4 years, we were champions, then finished 10th, champions, then finished 5th. So every 2 years we're amazing.
Yeah.
So
Right.
why is that? Why do we have to go through the 10th and the 5th seasons?
Right.
The managers didn't change. They really didn't do anything different. So I'm less looking at the actual manager themselves and more the interaction between the board, Abramovich, who's the owner, and how they interact with the management the manager and the rest of the team. But we're not in a good place, I can tell you that.
Other quick correction. Tottenham at third had a 38 goal differential.
Yes,
Liverpool
yeah.
had a 46. I think we had that switched.
Yes.
Well, speaking of problems, number 6, Arsenal. They finished with a 23 goal differential and 63 points to end the season out.
Lackluster finish.
Wasted
for
season. Wasted
Wenger,
Europa.
for the Gooners,
Yeah.
all around. I think the only or one of the bright spots to end the year though is Aubameyang looks like he could be.
Aubameyang and Lacazette. I like that duo.
It looks like
Aubameyang scored again today.
Mainly, yeah. Aubameyang's already what was it? He already hit like 10 goals this year
In 11 games or 12, whatever.
I mean, he if he keeps that form going, he's not going to the World Cup, so he's going to get a chance to kind of rest a bit. And who knows? He could be a Golden Boot person next year. So
yeah, build that team around him.
yeah,
I think this is like the Chelsea situation in the sense of it's just a big question mark. Until the manager, that'll be its own pod, I'm sure, because there'll be something dumb. It'll be something weird. Like you guys will get like Maximiliano, and we'll end up with Chelsea. We'll end up with like they'll go. We're going to give it to Arteta or
French
something
League
like.
Two.
Well, no, but they'll do that gamble or whatever or something. I don't know. It's this. It was a nice send off for Arsenal. They beat Burnley 4-0 and then barely scooped by Huddersfield 1-0 today.
times will change.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to watch how your board and ownership handle the future.
The switch.
What do they see for the future of Arsenal Football Club?
Money. So whatever they can do to get the highest they can, the cheapest they can. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's every football club.
yeah, but they're notoriously stingy. Although in the last year they actually spent money.
Well,
But then they spent it stupidly too. Like Aubameyang, they could have got at the beginning of the year cheaper than they did in January, but they went for him.
yeah, but they're also a very financially well-run club.
Yes.
So there's something to be said for that. It's still a business at the end of the day.
20 years in the Champions League.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think it's kind of good that they haven't named a manager yet. They let the year finish out, and now you have some time, and now is when the board's work needs to.
I don't think you're going to see an announcement
count.
for at least 2 weeks at the earliest. I think it'll be a little bit.
When does the summer transfer window open?
It's a shorter one this year. It's later. I don't know the answer to that. Usually it's July 1st, but with the World Cup going on, I think it's pushed back.
Right.
But I know it's a shorter one this year, so. But that still doesn't keep teams from contacting.
Oh, sure. And they're already contacting people.
players and all of that.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just.
That's when the official sit down, sign pictures.
Right.
There's been everything from
stuff. Yeah.
Luis Enrique is definite to he was a jerk and they didn't like him to it's definitely odds are 2-1 it's going to be the assistant coach at Liverpool who didn't accept an extension. It is crazy. It's all
the day and age that we're in.
All the Vegas odds are insane about.
Yeah, I don't even know where they're at now. Like what the odds are.
Yeah, there's like 13 people all lined up, and there's odds for each one of them. It's crazy.
Speaking of crazy though, man, 7th place, Burnley
Burnley at 7th.
Europa League coming to Turf Moor.
Europa League. Do you know where they finished last year by any chance?
I do not.
Ron?
13.
Blake, just take a guess.
16.
Boom. 16th.
I think it's why we picked them to be relegated.
They finished 16th, barely getting to 4. They got on 40 points. We're 2 places away from getting relegated last year. And now they're up to 7th, playing in Europe next year.
It's awesome.
That's freaking cool. Well done, Burnley.
Yeah. What a fun. I love Sean Dice. Like, great support at the club. The fans are
Chris
passionate.
Wood, one of our favorite Premier League strikers.
Oh, yeah. As long as he scores quick and early. Yeah.
They have to get their goal differential up. They've got to tighten up a little defense. They're on 12 losses and 12 draws of the season. And
sounds like Scottish Jose Mourinho to me. He's got this covered.
Yeah, and it's kind of past the top 6 is when you start to get into the minus goal difference there, and they were one of the best on minus goal difference with only a.
If they could get a good striker though, like not that they don't, but like if they could improve the situation. I
thought Vokes and Woods had very good years, and Barnes. They can hang on to those guys. Burnley doesn't need a big name. I think they more or less need somebody probably in the midfield and then on the sides. So a good solid right back and left back. Because they have Ben Mee in there, they have Tarkovsky, they have some good center backs, good goalie. Look at what Pope did this year. Yeah. Pope stepped in for Tom Heaton, and he was one of the best in the league. So they have a very solid club. I think they just needed to retool a little bit here. Not a lot, don't really change a whole lot, and get into Europe. And maybe it is you build some depth there, because now they're going to be playing on Thursday nights and Sundays.
But seventh place, 54 points. That's not too shabby for...
Not at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they need the depth, because once they're split focus, that is really going to... has the potential to tumble them through the table.
You know what? You know what else has potential? This beer. Jeez. Good gosh.
I don't even know what the hell I'm drinking.
You are drinking Dogfish Head's Worldwide Stout.
I wish I had a
thank you, Ron.
cigar.
From 2009.
Oh, my God. A good cigar.
Yeah. It's, 09. Ooh. It's a good year.
No, I'm not broken.
Okay. Moving on to 8th. Everton Football Club.
Well,
you say that.
They're still in the top 10.
They're still in the top 10.
Featuring the star of DC United.
Yes!
Soon.
But
the problem is they're the Buffalo
Everton,
Bills. Great, they're in the top 8 again. To say to them. But like
it's because Big Sam came in and did what they needed at the time back in October, November,
like a real thing.
Yes,
right. Yeah.
And he saved them and climbed them up the table and made it within the top 10. He did his job.
Yeah,
how can the fans be that mad at what he did?
Because they're tired of like 8th.
They're being subpar.
They're tired of between 6th and 8th.
But they almost didn't even get 8th. I mean, for a majority of the year. So you can't expect him to come in and then get them up into the top 6. That's not realistic from the fans. Maybe 7th, but...
I mean, it's funny to look back and think, like, why did you fire Roberto Martinez? He got you into Europa. Like,
do you know who they fired when they brought in Big Sam?
Who? I forget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ronald Koeman.
Oh, Koeman, right?
I mean, like, it's just such a, I don't know. They got
Where do they go this season? I think that's a big question for them. Because what they did last year, they brought in Sigurdsson, Rooney, Pickford. They brought in a whole slew of players, and they spent cash. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Walcott.
We were talking they may be able to they could get into Europe. That didn't happen. So now what do? Do you maybe not spend as much and just get in key places and then get in a more solid manager for the future? Or
the two teams below
young
them.
Talent? What do you do?
I think you drop further because the two teams below them could easily end above them for next year. I think that's what happens.
I think you build to get back into Europe for them. So work to get back in that top
Burnley.
6, 7.
Think about that as an Everton fan. The storied Everton. Your goal is to be better than Burnley next year. That's why they're mad. Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, you have to look at your season in a whole and go, we had a good chance at the time of going down or fighting it out. Well, your front office thing looks at it that way, but the fans,
So now the question is,
especially with Liverpool across the street in a Champions League final.
right?
That doesn't help.
So the question now becomes, when /if do you get rid of Allardyce?
I think he's gone.
Well, there was a big conversation that he really wasn't past the season anyway.
And he's not a long-term stay. I mean, he comes in, he fixes a club, or he fixes what is going on for that year, and then he's out. So, you could be looking at, 10 teams this offseason that could be in for a new manager, and
another
Everton
mark.
could very well be one of them, because
but if
fans
10
aren't
are
too
looking,
happy.
including Chelsea and Arsenal, Everton's
rough.
going to, that's not good.
And you could see them try to poach somebody already in the league, a Wagner or Howe. I mean, you could see them go that route, but it'd be interesting offseason for Everton to see where they go. And as long as they can, like I said, try to get back up to that 6th range, it'd be a good year next year if they can do that.
Next up, from a few years ago, champions Leicester. They finished the season in 9th with 47 points and a -4 goal differential,
Showing a lot of heart at the end of the season.
And solid for them, because they were looking like they were going to go down as well.
Yeah,
were
they
down
had
in
a
those spots.
horrible midsection of their season. They started off very strong and then faded away in the middle.
Tanked quickly, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when we thought, "Oop, is Leicester dropping?"
That was under Mr. Shakespeare.
Yeah, but no, they come back and actually they've had a good
Mahrez he's kind of a
last 3 games
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Did he score a goal today?
He did.
Mahrez? I mean, he's had kind of a good a good year. He's actually had a very good year.
Does he
for the
stay?
club. But where do you go at this point? Because the Mahrez boom, the Mahrez phase, kind of like the Jeremy Lin in New York Knicks phase, where everybody was so hot of. I mean, right?
The dude could do no wrong.
No, but Jeremy Lin's still a good player in the NBA. So is Mahrez, but I think the whole flash of him is gone, and now you don't have your big teams coming in from anymore. I think at Tottenham, they could be really good at Tottenham. They could be really good at in Arsenal. He would help them build, stay in the league. I don't know if he stays or goes. I don't know the answer.
Put him in Burnley.
Burnley would go. I know
He's not a Burnley player. Sean Dyche would yell at him, and he'd go into a corner and cry like a little bitch. I don't know.
I don't know. I think he'd probably, once he got with the program, I think he'd fit in really well.
Is Algeria in the World Cup? Do we know the answer? No, I don't think they are.
I don't know. I'll
I
look.
don't think they are.
Because I think the World Cup will be better if he's in the World Cup, but I don't know if Algeria is in it. I know Morocco is, Tunisia. I don't know if Algeria is, but yeah, I don't know where they go. Solid year for them. There's not a whole lot more you say about the Foxes.
No, but I do think the team below them at number 10, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Great year.
Great year. They finished in 10th, 44 points, -8 goal differential, 3 of which they made up today.
Yeah.
They Rafa Benitez, look out, man.
Man, he's
is
a good
what-
manager.
Newcastle's going to make things hard for
Algeria's not in the World Cup.
Algeria's
I
out.
didn't think so, yeah.
Newcastle next year is going to make things difficult for your Burnleys and Evertons that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're gonna finish higher than 10th.
And if they play
think so?
3/4 of the games next year, like they played against Chelsea this year, they're going to be good. Like the ball possession,
Yeah.
they didn't panic under pressure. Granted, Chelsea was playing subpar at best, but they kept creating great chances. Communication was good. They were hungry for it. They didn't just wait for the ball to bounce to them. Newcastle have the potential to be really good next year.
Very, very solid year, and they they lost a goalie early in the year. They have some solid players. They can bring in a couple more pieces. Hang on to Jermaine Lascelles, who was our captain at the back there. Keep Benitez. You could see them pushing higher up the table. I think they have a good chance of finishing about where they did again this year for next year.
Much like I didn't want the Premier League to end, I don't want this beer to end.
I'm done. It was good.
Are you? I'm still working over here.
Fair's not still working. We're about to move on to our next beer in just a second. But next up, we'll talk a little about Crystal Palace, finishing at 11 with 44 points, negative 10 goal differential.
Insane.
Man, from the depths.
Grandpa Roy.
Yeah, from the depths of nothing to, I mean, it took Newcastle's win today to drop them to 10th. Dropped them to 11th. I mean, like, wow. Like, Crystal Palace.
And really only on goal differential by 2 goals.
Right.
Well, 3.
What a heck
And
of
that was today's game, essentially.
They had a hole to dig out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
did.
dire. Their manager that was sacked will come into our picks here in a little bit. But yeah, they were dire. Remember, what did I say last pod? That they didn't even score a goal until October. Yeah. That's 2 months of the season before they scored a goal. And Roy came in and Palace. I mean, Steve Parrish brought him in and got just hammered for it. Why would you bring in this failed England coach, this failed Liverpool coach? But look what he's done. He's gotten the best out of a lot of the players. He's gotten them playing the Palace way. A wonderful job that they not only stay up, but that they're up to 11th.
And they were our like Aston Villa. They were our guaranteed out at that point in the year.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
They were so bad.
Well, part of it is their midfield really ended up gelling when they brought in Loftus-Cheek on loan from Chelsea. Zaha got healthy and came back.
Mm-hmm. That was huge.
That had a ton to do with it. And he came back right at the exact time. So I think that has a lot to do with it. James MacArthur had a really good season.
And Zaha was fantastic.
Yeah. MacArthur had a really good season. Benteke, I don't know. I think he's, for me, on this in this squad, he's the season's disappointment. He was he really never imposed himself on many of the matches, so there was no fear of him. So I think you got to do something with him to inspire him, or he can move on. In my opinion, Connor Wickham, I thought, had much more heart in the season. He didn't score as much.
He didn't play as much, yeah.
But he had more heart. I think the team responded better to him than they do with Benteke. So, I don't know. I think they have attacking questions going into next year.
Agreed.
But all in all, good year for them.
Oh, yeah.
When it was looking like it wasn't going to be.
I mean, really, Sacco had a way better season than Benteke did.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then he got hurt, but yeah, absolutely.
That brings up number 12, the Cherries, Bournemouth, with a win today. Finish off with a late goal, 44 points, a negative 16 goal differential. So Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, 10th, 11th, 12th, all had 44 points. Just goal differential separated them.
Bournemouth going on their third year, or was this a third year?
They'll be going into their fourth.
Going into their fourth year, staying up. That's
huge.
Massive.
A stadium that holds, again, this can't be stressed enough, 12,000 people. That's it. Less than half of what our local club here at Orlando City holds.
Right.
And they're going into their fourth year. That's huge. That's huge. And with a coach who you think will be in the Premier League for a while.
Yeah.
He's definitely made a name for himself. And the Cherries were fun to watch this year. Again, another late goal. This today gets them a victory. They had some very last-minute draws and wins that were a ton of fun this year.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they're not going to have too much squad turnover in the offseason.
Nope.
Because they really like playing for him, and they really like the club. There's so much heart in this club. I really like them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of turnover, but yeah, very solid club, good style of play. If they can hang on to Howe, keep Wilson healthy for a full year again, Stanislas. They have a lot of solid players on the team. They signed Aki permanently this year, so just keep doing what you've been doing, and hopefully the Cherries stay up for years to come.
Speaking of a team that also has a lot of heart, big old Joe Hart coming in at 13.
Wow, was that in your dad?
That's like a great segue.
Yeah, that's a segue. It's a dad joke segue.
That's 18%.
I had a dad joke last week.
What was your dad joke last week?
Remember where were we? And I had a dad joke. And,
Oh, yeah, you did. I think we were downtown at the match, right?
You were like, you got to give that to Blake so that he can start using it.
I don't remember what the hell it was, though.
We got a whole book of them.
Yes, we do.
But West Ham United in 13th, 42 points, negative 20 goal differential. But look, we're talking about 11th and 12th, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth going, hey, you had good years. We talk about 13th place West Ham. You barely finished in 13th, and you danced with relegation a lot of the season. They got to make some changes.
Changes.
Yeah. They got no business. They have more money than in a bigger club than to deal with what they've dealt with.
Yeah, and I think they need to do something with their attacking squad. Their attacking squad has quite a few really good names in it, but man, those guys cannot produce. Arnautovic, I think, was probably their most prolific player from their attacking core. They have Chicharito, who I think largely went unnoticed.
He's just kind of the poacher. It's what he does. He gets some of the goals when they need him.
Andy Carroll, was Andy Carroll injured?
Yeah, he's always injured, so he was off and on. Yeah.
So
more of the shock of, was he in a game or two?
Yeah.
And Jordan, I don't know if you pronounce it Huggle or Hudgel, but at best on him. So I really think if West Ham wants to improve their situation, they have to fix an attacking core.
Yeah, and they also need to figure out who they're going to bring in, because David Moyes is done. So, and he helped save them. Again, we've talked about with a few other clubs. These although there was a lot of manager changeovers this year, it was these couple of managers that helped save some of these clubs. He gone. Now who do you bring in?
Man, there's so many
a lot of manager
spots.
turnovers. Yeah, the days of, I think Blake said a few pods ago, the days of Wenger 22 years in a club, long gone.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
We're surprised if they're there for 3 or 4.
Yeah, 4 years is
right?
Like huge.
Yeah,
it's huge. 14th, we've got Watford in 14th, 41 points, negative 20 goal differential.
What does Watford need to do to get into the top 10 and stay there?
Play like they did the beginning of the season. they just collapsed.
Yes,
they were the Burnley. They looked like they had the chance of being in Europe.
Yeah,
and then that did not happen. They just kind of.
Yep.
Ooh.
They're
weird.
I think they need a huge revamp of their midfield. I mean, who's their Chalobah is probably their standout.
Maybe give Will Hughes a little bit more time in there, but yeah, I mean, Richarlison started off real hot this year and he fell off. Gray didn't have quite the year everybody thought he was going to have. Troy Deeney, with the managers coming in and out, sometimes he started on the bench, but when he came in, he played good, and then when he started, he didn't play good and he got in fight. I mean, it was kind of an odd year. I think that Watford goes to the drawing board, consults with Sir Elton John, and
they need to
bring in another
season.
manager for their 10th in 10 years and try to stay in the league again next year. Premier League
don't have
key.
Don't have manager drama. That would help.
Yeah.
Bring back the good.
The most interesting
guy.
man in the world looking dude. Yeah.
Bring back him.
How you doing on your beer there, Ferris?
If you want to do the other one, I'll.
All right. Do we want to pause here at 15?
Or do you want to finish off the table and then before we get into the other stuff? Because we're not too far down.
Sure. Well, yeah, we'll pick up the pace here. 15, Brighton, one of the best stadiums in the Premier League. They finished with 40 points, negative 20 goal differential. Good for them. First year in the Premier League, and they stay.
Yep.
Which, again, as we talked about last pod, this is the first time in several years that you've got all 3 promoted teams, newly promoted, also make it. I'm not allowed to say about Brighton. They just need like Burnley or Bournemouth in its first year in. You just get that money now from this year and stay.
Right. Do something very smart with that money.
I think it's huge that they stayed. That is their biggest. They secured themselves a second year in the top flight. That is huge for Brighton. And the job that their players have done down there, Glenn Murray, 75 years of Glenn Murray-year-old scoring goals out there. What were you talking about? He could possibly be in
not only that,
England?
Like Brighton finishes, though, with 40 points, which we're going to get to these folks, but not the person below them at 16th, but 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Clubs they ended above who have been staples for years of the Premier League. That's huge.
How do Brighton avoid that for 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road? These, from all accounts, they're a very smart club. They have a solid manager, owner-based, lovely stadium. Stay in this league. Yeah. That is their main goal.
Just stay. Now, speaking of staying, number 16, Huddersfield. Probably the most exciting, like staying up that we talked about in the previous pod. But 37 points, negative 30 goal differential. Patrick Stewart said, "Make it so," and they did. They're in, and they lost to Arsenal today, 1-0. But we've already talked about them. Them staying up was huge. Like fun club. It's nice to have the Terriers.
Yeah, I think the keys to their next season, keys for them next season. Hold on to Aaron Moy because, man, he is the heart and soul of that team. And probably, I don't think they'll get a better midfielder who understands their style of play.
And the manager.
Oh, sure.
I think that's a big,
True.
Keeping him, which I think they will, but that guy could have a long career too, depending on how things end up going with Brighton, in terms of being the Premier League in general. Number 17, we get Southampton, who just squeaked into
hairs
staying.
on their chin.
Guys, that's my pick for out next year. Woof. Southampton just barely squeaked through 36 points, negative 19 goal differential.
Keep Mark Hughes, I think.
Got to make some changes.
Keep Mark Hughes and keep Charlie Austin healthy, and that's a good start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, Gabbiadini. You got to keep him healthy. Because when at the beginning of the season,
striker though.
At the beginning of the season, he was solid.
But then what did he do up until last week?
Well, I mean, he was injured for a good portion.
Well, he's Italian, so that's not a shocker there.
A lot of injuries.
But I mean, Southampton were pretty high up the table, and then when Charlie Austin went out, they went down.
Yeah.
Keep James Ward-Prowse, Yoshida. I mean, not Kushida, Yoshida. And Hughes, that's a good starting point. And then just don't sell players. Don't sell players to Liverpool every freaking time that they're good.
Yeah, that's the
hang on to them.
That's the Southampton way of doing things. Develop players and then sell them.
Yeah, they can't afford to do that anymore.
To be honest, though, except for this season, which is probably the closest they've been to relegation in quite some time.
But this is where it's caught up to them.
Yeah,
close. I mean, they like I said, they squeaked by.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to look at their business model and make sure that it's set up for success in the best ways possible for the resources they have. Because they, looking through their roster, you could go through this with a red pen and just start marking off people who made no impact to the game.
And then we get to our bottom three.
In the relegation zone.
Number 18, Swansea City with 33 points, negative 28.
They almost did it, too.
Shame, too, because we could have had a little Wales derby with Cardiff coming into the Premier League, but they almost did it.
Carlos Calvejal almost saved him. What was the other stat we saw on NBC? First 9 games, he had a win percentage of 52%. Last 9 games, 0%.
Bob Bradley's coming back to the Premier League.
Yeah, right.
Or championship, I guess.
Swansea almost hung in there, and just their last 9 games down.
We have a lot of Swansea fan friends as well.
Yeah.
Got to find a new club.
Sorry, guys.
A couple of Stoke friends too.
ESPN Plus next year for you.
And then we got Stoke City at 19, relegated, negative 33 goal differential, 33 points. I don't know how they ended up at the bottom.
Well, because they won today and West Brom lost. That was the only,
And there's West Brom at number 20. Boy, Tony Poulos looking like a better guy they should have kept. Although I like their coach.
Hang on to Darren Moore.
Yes, I think.
Hang on to him, and you have a great chance of coming back up again next year.
And there's a rocket coming out of Stoke right now, and that is Shaqiri. He's got to go. I don't see him staying.
Dust cloud shape.
You know where I could see Shaqiri actually?
Right.
Burnley.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I could see that.
That would fit his style. Right.
They answered every question today as Burnley.
That's been the answer to it all.
Burnley. Who's winning Champions League next year? Burnley.
Champions League? I like that. So as I try to pull up your content sheet you sent me. For some reason, it doesn't want to load. Here we go. So before we move on to
You got West Brom yet?
Oh, well.
No, we covered West Brom. Darren Moore. Just keep
we were saying
Darren
below
Moore,
than West Brom.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
At 31 points with a negative 25. Goal differential.
Hang on to Darren Moore, and I think they'll be
Yeah.
okay and
Yeah.
have a good chance of coming up again for next year.
Yeah.
Sorry, I must have been blacked out in Burnley World when you said that.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that. So just like on our first pod, we're going to talk about our favorite moments and best of the best. But first, I've got the perfect beer for us, gents.
That's a tall.
It's going to be under 10% this time, right?
Yeah. Barely. I didn't think that through. I'm going to be honest.
We're going to roll up to Atlanta.
So
the Atlanta game.
Thankfully, we split one 18% beer. It was not.
And we I had to. Ron can't always have the uber rare beers. I had to get one of us had to also bring a rare beer. So from that to our beer of the pod, from a brand new brewery, one that we haven't tried, new to us.
Ooh.
Lord Hobo Brewing Company.
I love the name.
Lord Hobo Brewing Company.
Are you serious?
With
Hello, Hobo.
our story. With beer on a pedestal and adventure up our sleeves, we set out to craft style-defining New England beers that highlight the paramount traits of quality ingredients. Like us, our beers are elegant yet raw, free-spirited yet sophisticated. Beer has a unique ability to bring all kinds of people together, from the lords that only enjoy the finer things in life to the hobos that work hard to earn their small pleasures. Great beer is an accessible luxury.
I love it.
Awesome.
Which is a great line.
It.
Proudly brewed in Massachusetts, we're bringing the New England beer experience to thirsty fans everywhere. We relish in the connection and find sanctuary in the beers that unite us. Lords and hobos alike, we all deserve to drink like royalty. Here. Another good line.
That's awesome.
They've got some, those are some pretty
So
good
do we
lines.
have a New England style IPA?
We are going to have a full-bodied double IPA
Okay.
that glows a magnificent hazy orange, heavily dry hopped with Girillo, Azaka, and Mosaic, resulting in big notes
Speak dirty to me.
of pineapple, mango, honeydew with a notable Pilsner malt backbone. Dangerously drinkable, surprisingly mellow. 9.5% alcohol.
you
just
the threshold.
just under 10. IBU 70, Pilsner malts and spelt, and featured hops are the Azaka and Girillo. And it is the perfect name beer for our clubs this season of Manchester United, Chelsea, and Arsenal.
Oh.
I present to you
Mediocre
dun, dun.
at best.
Consolation Prize. The IPA.
That's brilliant.
Oh, I love this can, though.
Oh, that's
Lord
awesome.
Hobo Brewing Company. Oh, my God.
A double Indian Pale Ale. Consolation Prize. Always a winner. It says at the bottom.
Consolation prize. Always a winner.
That's
I'm going to take it right next to my Manchester United scarf here.
And the name of the brewing company is awesome.
oh yeah, Lord Hobo Brewing. And what a great little write up they've got. They have some cool beers. They're always in pounders. I didn't see anything smaller. So these are pint pint cans from the hills of Woodburn, Massachusetts. So here we go.
All right.
Little consolation prize.
Literally.
Fitting we have this right after we took the relegation zone.
Love the smell of a good IPA.
Ooh, and this is said pineapple, mango, honeydew with a notable Pilsner backbone.
You doing it out of the can, Blake? Are these the ones we do out of the can, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's made
Cool.
made to have. See, that's the whole Lord Hobo-ness of it. You know, you gotta
that
have
is the
it.
Lord Hobo. No.
The hobo-ness.
Hoboness. That's the Lord Hobo-ness.
The hobo-ness. Is that actually a word?
This smells good. Ooh, yeah. So here we go. Beer of the pod.
Cheers.
This is a real dilly dilly
To lords and hobos. Here.
because we all deserve to drink royally. I like that, or drink like royalty. Here we go. Whoa.
Ooh.
It could not be
That's-
any more different than the first beer we just...
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
This
Complete opposite end of the
is
spectrum.
9.5%.
Does not taste any bit of 9.
No.
Because like it's a very different flavor profile, mind you, but I enjoy like a Dale's Pale Ale. Those are 6%.
This is
And this I don't
smooth.
taste that.
And the
lovely.
hops
This is
does not-
delightful.
yeah, there's no... The hops is very well blended. It's not...
Like,
it's not really bitter.
It's not the orangey citrus. It is that pineapple and more mango kind of.
Yeah. God, it's good.
Woo, man. I got to say at 9.5%, though, this is dangerous because you could drink this and not realize.
Hello, hobo.
I love it. There we go. New brewery.
I like it, man. Good choice.
Oh, I saw this name and said, boom.
I love Lord Hobo proudly presents.
Consolation prize. That's what we got. All right. So, just like our very first pod we ever did, Ferris had questions for us in our first pod.
Tres momentos.
So, top moments of the season.
3 moments of the season, to be precise.
And we'll do this like we did last go round, where each one start, we do our 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 until we get through 9.
Sounds good.
Does that make sense? That's the new math.
Not it.
All right, who's going first?
I'll go
Ferris says-
first.
I
Sure, why not?
don't care.
I think one moment of the season for me, and we just kind of talked about it. If you guys remember how cool of a sight it was to watch Brighton and Hove Albion play their first game in the Premier League in the Amex and see all of those flags going against Manchester City. They didn't win the game, but that opening sight of this club that has come from the bottom tiers of English football, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to and they stay in the league. Awesome. Started off just with this iconic sight and ended with a great finish to stay in the league.
All right, so my first one. December 22nd. In 5 minutes at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal scores 3 goals against Liverpool to draw 3-3.
We watched that at the can, didn't we?
Back in December, when things looked like exciting and we didn't know just how bad things would go for Arsenal. That was a blast.
That was a blast. That was a good man.
I went to go buy a round of beers and it watched all the
Outside,
goals
right?
before I could get back to the table. Like that's how fast it was. That was a blast.
Good choice. That was a blast.
And it was a fun time. We were at the Crooked Can. Ooh, I have a rare Crooked Can too, by the way, which almost made it onto this pod, but I was like, I had too many together, so next time. But yeah, good time at the Crooked Can, hanging out and watching that match. That was a blast. I didn't put that as my top game of the season, but that was a lot of fun.
So my 3 moments are not in any particular order.
We just got to say one.
Right.
Okay. So
I'm just reading through the list,
Right.
not necessarily. I didn't put them in an order. The Manchester City versus Manchester United match, where City wins 2-1 and leads to the infamous tunnel brawl.
Oh,
That was a pretty fun moment this
shame
season.
there was
But there wasn't really a whole lot of camera
no.
footage on that
Shame
one.
Joe Hart wasn't around for that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that would be great.
But the ensuing political fun between Pep and Jose Mourinho was like the best soap opera on the planet.
Yeah.
Couldn't write it. It's perfect.
So that's round 1 of top 3 moments.
Oh, nice.
Now we should have got like an intro song for top 3 moments. So
Yeah, we
then
should.
I go first, right? Is that how it works?
Yep.
You went first, then we go this. Okay. So
No, you went first. Just keep going in the same order. Just keep, boom.
I don't know what's happening.
You went first.
Did I? I thought you did.
No.
I've already.
Oh,
forgotten.
you're right. I did.
Yeah,
you're right.
Should I rewind the tape?
Okay.
But a minute and a half ago.
I'm wrong. Would you like
we
me to go
actually-
first?
Yeah. I'll go.
Okay.
Do we actually have a tape?
Well, yes. I had to downgrade.
Okay. Be kind. Rewind.
So my second top 3 moment, April 29th at Old Trafford.
Specific dates.
I know. Oh, at Old Trafford. Surprise presentation by Sir Alex Ferguson for Arsene
Oh,
Wenger.
very cool. Yeah.
Which at that time, as these photos are being taken,
Very cool.
you have 2 of the greatest rivals
Yeah,
in
very,
Premier
very
League
cool.
history. But then something amazing happened. Jose Mourinho steps into the
Very
picture.
cool, yeah.
And then you have 3 of the greatest Premier League managers who have ever lived. Boom.
Yeah.
In one shot.
Good shout.
That was awesome.
Good.
That
Nicely
was awesome.
done.
That's
Wow. Nicely done.
my moment number 2.
Nicely done. Oh, that was such a good one. Mine brings the mood down.
It's all right.
The events at West Ham were
It was close on my list, that one.
those were shocking.
Top out of like pointing a flashlight at some things that
yeah.
are still a little messed up. Yeah.
Yep.
Not that. I mean, Thankfully, nobody got seriously injured or hurt. But fans going onto the pitch, players having to stop fans,
grabbing the kids to protect them,
to be in the opposing dugout, shouting obscenities at the owners from the. I mean, just shocking stuff there. And that, I mean, unfortunately, that's a moment that stuck out.
Mine is a little bit similar. One of the most interesting and iconic moments from the Arsenal season.
Please tell me it's the one I'm thinking of.
Was the lone supporter.
I had the
sitting up in the stands screaming, "Boo rubbish, boo rubbish."
Oh, he's the away
that was
match,
on my list,
right?
Yeah,
there was a boo. It was rubbish.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about that guy.
Yes. Good call, Ron.
Yeah. And he's so into it. He doesn't see the people trying to leave. And the guy tries to duck under him and gets the arm in the face. But that Arsenal supporter was not happy. And that kind of sums up the Arsenal year.
Yes. And that's why it almost made my top 3, because you're right. That image and that little short clip almost sums up their year.
Yeah.
We just keep going this way.
Cool, Mike.
By the way, Ron doesn't go twice in a row. So I just realized that that formula didn't work.
Yeah.
So that means Ron. Yeah. If I go now, you two, you got to figure out who's last. If you think you got a good one. My final one, May 9th.
Here.
A beautiful draw against Chelsea. Huddersfield pull their most Jose Mourinho-like fashion of parking the bus and holding on to that draw at Stamford Bridge to stay up in the Premier League.
The last 20 minutes was riveting.
That atmosphere, the Huddersfield fans that were there at Stamford Bridge, Patrick Stewart.
Well, that one didn't keep them up. It was the Man City game, the draw that kept them up. But that was they had to. Yes, the huge point,
because they knew it was Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal that they were playing back to back to back.
And that's not a good schedule for a newly promoted team.
Everybody saw that and said, "Oh, tough luck. You're done. You're done."
Yeah. How about
okay? Third moment of the season, we saw a very American-style blockbuster trade this year. And Alexis Sanchez and Henrik Mkhitaryan swapping clubs. Yep. Very rare in the Premier League to see.
Swapping spit?
Clubs.
Clubs.
Get your head out of the gutter over there. Good God, man.
Where did you go?
Hello.
It's at 18%.
Mm-hmm. But blockbuster swap, piano playing, all sorts of fun stuff in that one.
No, wait.
What?
I got to stop you.
Why?
Because you messed up my top moment. The Man City draw was May 6th. Securing it was the draw against Chelsea on May 9th.
Yeah, but you said Chelsea. No, the Man City draw.
Nope.
Are you positive?
May 6th. Man City draw against Huddersfield 0-0. Oh, my gosh.
Oh. There was a party at Stamford Bridge, but it wasn't for Stamford.
Yes, you're right.
On May 9th.
It was the Man City one I was referring to, that was the biggest point that they had.
No, the Chelsea's the bigger point because then it's done. It's over. It didn't matter what happened against Arsenal.
Fine, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
you
can go back onto your top moment now. Because I was like, wait a minute. Right. I don't know about that. Them apples. I got to go back and look at these results.
Swapping spit over there. Okay.
Yeah, swapping results is what you're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Man City, Chelsea, they're all in blue. Who the hell cares?
Where we just look, hey,
we
went from an 18% beer to a sensible 9.5%. I don't know why you messed that up.
Sensible.
You're right.
A gentlemanly 9.5%.
God, we're a dumpster fire. But yeah, the Henrik Mkhitaryan, Alexis Sanchez swap, just very unheard of, just player for player, very cool, big players. Henrik came onto the scene and had very good games. Sanchez has been steady and has played well, hasn't necessarily stood out, but has shown flashes of what he's done at Arsenal. And
we actually said in that pod, or I said, I think Arsenal got the better end of that deal. Maybe not necessarily the better player, but the better fit.
Time will tell. Yeah. But yes, I think,
All right. I guess that moves us on to Ron's final top 3.
So mine is probably the funniest moment to me of the entire Premier League season. It happens.
Louis Van Gaal's not in the league, so that's going to be hard to
We got some footage from his house. Got a little drone footage.
Manchester United playing Swansea. And Jose Mourinho has a finger puppet parade in this match where he is showing his players you're supposed to be matching 3-on-3.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like they're dancing. And he goes on for a good 10 minutes with finger puppet theater, to which he also concludes with smoking, smoking
that's what it was.
in front of the Swansea manager.
Nobody uses the digits like Jose.
It was hysterical. And he's he's that perfect blend of pompous and arrogant, yet cool and sophisticated.
What did he say today in his post-conference match? My record since I'm a champion, 8th champion, whatever he said.
He started off with that.
Like, I got 8 championships. Yeah, love it. And hey,
and him and Zlatan were on the same team.
Freaking finger puppet coaching got him there.
And if you have the chance, go back and look at it.
That's pretty good. That's good.
It's in probably every YouTube highlight reel of the season. Him playing the 3-finger dance and the smoking. Mm-hmm. It was pretty brilliant.
So then now we move on to, that was our top 3 on Brewtiful Game.
Tres Mementos.
Tres Mementos. Moving on to best player of the season and the best player for your club. If they are not one and the same. Seeing as how none of us are Liverpool.
I'll go first. I'll go Kevin De Bruyne for me, just because of the 100-point mark and what he helped his team win the league. He was a catalyst for that team. Salah, very close second. One of you will probably say Salah. Can't argue with that whatsoever. But for me, De Bruyne, I like the midfield play. I like the Carricks of the world. And
they don't win by this many points without him.
Right. His assist and goal scoring and just, he's a workhorse, man. And he was fun to watch all year.
You want to go? I can go.
Okay, good.
Number 1, Mohamed Salah. And I put 2, Kevin De Bruyne, because I couldn't decide between the two of them.
Make up your mind, man.
But Salah coming back in from a break from the Premier League he had, like I edged him up to my first spot. He's definitively my top. I don't know about Kevin De Bruyne, what the players speak about Salah.
Thunder?
No, that was Tucker barking.
No, that was Thunder. I think he was barking at the Thunder.
Oh, maybe Thunder happened. Oh, yeah, our game could get a little nasty tonight. That we're going to.
Good thing I wore sandals.
But Salah, by all accounts, from so many players, also a really good dude, and had a fantastic year. The Golden Boot with 32 goals.
Correct.
Yeah,
we'll get into that a little bit more. But hopefully he carries that on with Egypt in the World Cup this summer.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to give you the stats of this player. The basic stats of this player and see if you can guess.
Ron throwing curveballs.
You have to do math on the spot? That wasn't
math after an 18% beer and a 9.5
beer and talk sports.
Jeez.
8 goals, 15 assists, 127 accurate long balls, which led to creating 87 credible chances and 241 accurate crosses on the season.
I feel like it's enough goals to be De Bruyne. I would have said De Bruyne for some of those, but like,
what was it again?
8 goals, 15 assists.
Oh, that's De Bruyne, I think.
De Bruyne?
127 accurate long balls, which created 87 credible chances. I think you're right. And 241 accurate crosses.
Crosses part would be the only thing. I'd still stick with De Bruyne had a lot of assists.
Don't look it up.
No, I'm just looking at the teams.
Are we right in De Bruyne to say yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, okay. Wow. Isn't that crazy? I assumed 8 goals wasn't enough because he was involved with so many. I thought
it's like the 15 assists that is awesome. I think he led the league in assists, correct?
Yes, he did. 127 accurate long balls.
2 De Bruyne's, a Salah,
leading to 87 credible chances off of those long balls.
That's a lot.
That's enough to make him
good.
My favorite player or my hardest working player right there.
Yeah. He good.
Oh, and it's raining now.
Yeah, that's what I
There we
heard
go.
some-
The thunder and lightning's coming on. Don't knock out the power. We're almost through with the pod. Now I want to put that sound effect in as if that would actually happen. Boom. Like the lights.
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation. We got one in. A reference. Do we have a Christmas Vacation reference in our very first pod?
God, I hope so. But
I
don't
now
have
want to go back and
check.
listen. Yeah. All right. So now we move on to best game of the season.
Did you missed goal this season? Or did we cover
Best
that?
goal of the season.
Best goal this season, maybe?
Oh, and not one of us said, by the
sorry.
way, not
None
one
of
of us.
repeated any of the moments of the season.
No, we did not.
I was going to say that not one of us said what our favorite player on our
that's right,
respective
that's right.
team was.
I can do those quick.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to sound really weird. It's Henrik Mkhitaryan. It's an attitude shift occurred amongst the players when he came in.
Aubameyang.
Mkhitaryan came in just enough first that I feel like Aubameyang doesn't.
Okay.
I feel like
see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's not about necessarily the production of stats. There was an attitude. This is a partial most my best player on the club. I do not mean this by stats. I mean this by the Sanchez problem had become toxic, and the attitude that Mkhitaryan came in, and then that's also then what Aubameyang later walked into. I feel like that was a really big shift. And it took a little bit for them to figure out Aubameyang and how they were going to play him. But I think Mkhitaryan as a leader, a player on the field, did a lot to help out Arsenal's personality problems that it was having between Ozil and Sanchez and kind of all this stuff. And for me, most impact, I guess, is how I'll put that on the club would be Mkhitaryan.
Mine's a tie. David De Gea and Nemanja Matic as the best on.
I don't know how it's not De Gea. Because
Right.
without him, there's no way.
Well, but I mean, Matic played just as many games as De Gea, and he was a stay in that midfield all year
And
long.
solid. Just solid.
Solid player. De Gea, the reason I say it's a tie, because De Gea, unfortunately, he's so good. He's done this the past 3 years with United, where he's
don't
been
take
their
it for granted,
best player.
yeah.
Right? It's tie.
What you got, Ron?
Mine is the same player from the Jose Mourinho year.
I thought I was going to say Matic before he left.
Right? Willian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Willian, who is probably, he and Moses were the only two that continued to maintain production.
Drew came in.
Yeah,
He came in partway through, but like
I don't feel like he had.
You shut up about the lumbersexual.
Whoa.
He's done nothing but good stuff for you.
I agree.
Okay, don't you?
Easy now. But I don't.
Mood swings over here.
If we're gonna give you the lumbersexual, you treat him right.
I totally treat.
I'm just
I
saying.
wore a shirt on the first goal. Come on. While I think he was good, he was relatively isolated when the attitude got crappy.
Lonely French forehead.
And so that basically took him out of the game. And I think the person who consistently still has heart and still fights is Willian.
Yeah.
No matter what's happening, he is still the most consistent, level-headed player.
That's a good call. I can get behind that.
Cool.
I apologize. I accidentally skipped best goal of the season. So we want to go to best goal of the season before we go to best game of the season? I guess I'll start. Best goal of the season. I went back and had to go look at a bunch of these.
Yeah, I did as well.
But
I
I
think we all probably did.
think my favorite one is one that I like pulling off when I've got FIFA set to easy, which is why this is cool. That he pulled this off. Speaking of Southampton, back in October 21st, 2017. Sofiane Bouffel's his solo run,
the long
where
run,
he just ran alone as if he was playing easy on FIFA, or rookie or whatever it's called. But you thought he should have passed that thing off a million times, and he just cut through everybody and scores that freaking goal. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great goal.
Back in the heady days when Southampton wasn't really worried about relegation.
Back in the happy days.
Yeah. I think that's mine, which was kind of surprising when I went back and looked at a ton of different goals, but that was awesome.
All right.
Also, it was an immediate impact, right? It was a late goal. Yeah, a late goal gave him the lead, and they won the game 3-0. Hey, 1-0. Without that, They relegated.
True.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Mine is Everton, the Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, that was up there in contention.
Versus West Ham.
Mine was definitely up there. Was up there.
He has, in this match, he scores
DC United.
2.
DC United.
He scores 2. The keeper comes out and sweeps something clean, and the ball falls to Rooney, who is well past the halfway line. So it's a 65-yard shot, and Rooney, cool as you like, just puts that thing right into the back of the net.
Yeah.
And it goes in slow-mo over the keeper who is off his line because he just came out and swept the ball. This other West Ham defender jumps into the air, and it just misses him by like the sweat on the guy's hair.
See,
phenomenal
65
goal.
yards.
He's 65.
He's taking the DC United gig because his real goal is to play for a Washington NFL team as the kicker because he's like, I can play with him until I'm 50.
True.
But I think that's goal of the season. He takes it one time.
That's a good one.
He doesn't make a touch first. He takes it one time off of the clearance, and it's a beautiful sweeping.
And after that
knuckleball.
beautiful goal, he gets to go to DC United and probably have to score from 65 yards out because I don't know that they're going to get closer.
Who knows?
Can't wait.
I love that we fought Ferris on
Can't
that
wait.
and the news dropped right afterwards.
Can't wait.
The next day.
The next day.
He's not officially signed yet.
Yeah,
It's
they've
good
discovered
positive.
him.
Right.
I love that. They discovered him. Yeah, whatever. So who's your
So I had a couple of choices. Wayne Rooney was on my list. The Charlie Daniels goal against City real early in the year. That rocket that almost City ended up drawing, but very late. The Eriksson goal against Chelsea was a beautiful strike. But as I said, Nemanja Matic,
Oh, nice.
that Palace goal that he had, first for the club, stoppage time, 2-2 at Palace, winner, snuck in between a Chelsea win and a Liverpool win to help keep the momentum going there. 92nd minute strike from afar, just beautiful, just outside of the boot, power to it, sloping corner of the net. Winner. So I'll probably go with that one. But there were a lot of lovely good goals. Oh, and the Salah goal against Arsenal, I think, where he wove in between like 5 players in the box and then slotted home a goal real late in the game. That was also up there as well because that was a beautiful goal.
That moves us to best game of the season.
I'll stick with the United and I'll go that Man United derby game late in the year that stopped the come from behind, that stopped City from, not stopped them, but prolonged their title winning,
Winning the actual title.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know how to say that. But
That second half was phenomenal.
The Pogba 2 goals, fun game, stopped them, kind of United stood up and said, not on our time, and played very well. And that was a...
There may come a day when the will of man may fall, but today is not that day.
Correct.
I don't think I've quoted Lord of the Rings yet. So
No, there he goes. Nerd.
My game of the season? January 14th, 2018.
You have dates associated with all of these.
In 9 minutes, Liverpool scores. Liverpool scores 3 goals to beat Man City 4-3. That was awesome.
Oh, that was another fun. Oh, maybe it was that was the game that Salah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
4-3. 3 goals, 9 minutes. And that was the champion killer. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah. So that one was mine, but I had a backup, and it harkens me back. Harkens me back.
I brought up Lord of the Rings, so we're going to start using words like harkens.
To the day, I don't have the date because I'm not Blake, but it's in January or February.
January or February.
Because it's Everton versus Stoke in the snow.
Oh, that
was
snow game,
a fun game. because it's in the snow. Everyone's slipping around. The ball not skipping around. It just hits the snow and dies. That's such a fun and takes me back to the U.S. men's national team game that they played versus France in Ohio, and it snowed like crazy. This was 4 or 5 years ago, but those snow matches are always fun.
I want to throw out a stat before we look back at our picks that we had.
Is it a date?
No, it's not a date.
Okay.
And the only reason is because we're going to talk about like what we thought. Those were predictions that we failed at miserably a lot or didn't. But, man, it's a good thing I've got a Premier League club, because if I was just getting the Premier League, I think I would fall in love with the current Liverpool situation. It's a great stat. Not only did Liverpool pull off this year, second year and Champions League final, back into the Champions League, that kind of stuff. But this stat I saw right before we got in here on Twitter, I thought it was great. Liverpool is the only club out of 92 clubs in the entirety of the English football league to finish their season, their domestic season, undefeated at home. That is a crazy stat.
Anfield's starting to be a
that
fortress
is
again.
Fortress. Man, out of 92 clubs in the whole of the EFL.
That's cool.
That's
cool stat.
Awesome. Yeah. Saw that right before we came. Yeah.
So now you really fear playing them at home.
Oh,
in a season where I would argue that there's probably one, maybe two other teams that you are afraid of.
Yes.
Because when I first started paying attention to Premier League football, when it was, back when it just became Barclays, there were teams that other teams feared having to play or having to host at home. And that's largely gone now. Nobody fears Arsenal. Nobody really fears Chelsea.
I mean, I think Man City was just an anomaly of a holy crap.
Right.
So good.
Manchester United is not all that feared. They
correct. Yeah.
I think
everybody has shown weakness in the armor.
Man City and Liverpool are probably the only two that teams are that apprehensive to play.
Man, Anfield. That's a cool stat for the fans back there going to every match.
I bet at Tony Sounds Good is having a ball with that one.
And I got to say, the way Liverpool plays, really excited to go watch the Champions League final. Who knows what's going to happen? It's freaking Real Madrid. But man, if any club could pull it out, I think Klopp's a good guy to, I think, have in there.
Should be a fun final.
Yeah. It's just really hard. I can't not love, I think, any club that Klopp coaches.
Yeah.
Dude's just so cool.
So
this is always what they get him. And he was little, like, whenever they ask him a question, his big teeth.
When he laughs, his mouth doesn't move. It just stays open.
When I said that quote from that BBC show, the Red Dwarf, that man's got teeth the Druids could use as a place of worship. Yeah, freaking love that guy. Now on to how we did for our predictions. I said for the top four, I predicted Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. I was half right.
Yeah. I was about
Arsenal was
the same. I was the same. I had
Arsenal was my hopeful choice. I recognized that they were going to have issues,
right.
But I got to tell you, Chelsea's the one that would. If you'd have told me that last year, it shocks me.
We all had Chelsea in the top four. Yeah.
All three of us to bed with Chelsea.
Yeah, we did. But yeah,
I almost blew that beer all over my microphone. Warn me next time.
That would have been lovely because it would have been all over my laptop as well. United and City for me, and then I had Arsenal and Chelsea, so I was 50%. Ron, I think you were the best, man.
Yeah, I did good this season. Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
3 out of the 4.
And I had 3 out of 4.
Yeah, he was the only one that. Yeah, so you dropped.
I should get a jersey for that.
Oh yeah, you dropped Chelsea complete. No, you put in Chelsea. You just dropped Arsenal and Tottenham. Yeah,
Golden Boot.
None of us. But you know what's funny? Like how none of us thought about Tottenham.
Well, because didn't we all say we weren't sure how they were going to play in their in their temporary
but this
stadium?
Actually, I think goes back to the conversation we had talking about them at the beginning of this pod. In that, even though they did in fact in third, Liverpool ending fourth feels larger than fourth. Tottenham coming in third feels lower than coming in third.
Yeah,
like and I think it's just out of a. You look at Liverpool, you look at Manchester United, you look at Manchester City, and you think these are clubs who we might not have seen the best of yet, right? Tottenham, this could be the best they are for 5 years. And you wouldn't surprise you. The surprise would be if they ended top next year. You'd be like, holy crap.
Right.
But if
you just expect so little from them all the time.
I know, but it's this weird dichotomy of like, I expect them to kick butt, but not enough. Like
right.
Just not quite enough.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that all of us probably should have put Tottenham in there, but to the man, none of us did.
True story.
So
Golden Boot, none of us had right.
I don't think a lot of people probably didn't have this one right.
No one's going to pick Salah.
No.
But none of us picked Kane either, who was
that's
just
true,
under.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked Lukaku.
I picked Gabriel Jesus.
I had Lacazette.
And Lukaku finished 6th with 16 points. Gabriel Jesus finished 9th on 13 goals. And Lacazette finished 8th on 14 goals.
I do think Aubameyang is going to make a run for it next year.
Yeah, but Phil,
We were all in the top 10.
What'd you say?
Phil, you owe me a jersey because Lukaku finished above Lacazette on the year.
Ah.
Man, you're like, we'll get to that. You're raking them in.
He's going to have like 12 jerseys. I got to stop buying you some.
And I just ordered myself the new United third kit for next year. It was one of those Parley kits.
Does it have dirigible dingus on the back of it?
No, I wish. It was.
Ours is going to.
It was one of those 100% recycled kits that United did.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, that ours
Orlando did.
But they just released it for 2018-19, so I ordered it. It was expensive, but anyways. First manager sacked.
Man, I was so close.
We all were close, yeah.
I picked Paul Clement, Swansea.
I picked Mark Hughes as Stoke.
And I picked Slaven Bilic.
Which is funny, except for Ron, we almost picked all the clubs that got relegated.
Yeah, true.
Because being West Ham's coach.
And West Ham were down there for a very long time.
So Frank de Boer is the man.
Crystal Palace, he was after. He was only in the last
and apparently
month
the
or two.
Smartest sacking.
Oh, yeah.
If you think about
Yeah.
that, you and I
Good
said
point,
Swansea
yeah.
and Stoke, and even West Ham, and where Crystal Palace ended compared to all three of those clubs.
Yep.
So Slaven was 4th, Clement was 6th, and Hughes was 7th.
And they were over 10 this year. So
I love this part. I really intentionally do not go back and listen to this old episode. I know you do to write this stuff down, but I don't.
Well, now I just take notes. Before I had to go back and actually listen to it. I wasn't that. So now I just take notes. Now it's just easy just to bring up.
I like being surprised. I like
Yeah,
what do we pick? And so then we got getting relegated. I picked Huddersfield, Burnley, Crystal Palace.
I had Burnley as well, and I had Huddersfield as well. And then
Again,
Brighton and Hove.
Burnley ended, we talked about earlier, last year at 16th. So that's why we all felt that way.
I did not pick Burnley. I had a little more faith in them. I had Swansea City, Huddersfield, and Watford.
Watford, you weren't far off on.
No,
and
but-
Ferris, you had Huddersfield and Brighton Hove. So we all three had Huddersfield. Again, that only speaks to how awesome it is that they stayed up.
survived. And Ron, you were the only one that got any of the three right in Swansea.
Yeah, Burnley in 7th, Crystal Palace
I love that
11th, 14th Watford, 15th Brighton, 16th Huddersfield.
And we all picked Burnley going, I don't want this to be the case, but I think based on what had occurred.
Well,
And they
you
were up
guys
at
did.
7th in Europe. Could be farther from what we picked.
Yeah.
That's why I like
that's
looking
what's
at these
amazing
later.
about it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And our Leicester-ish prediction.
For those of you who are newly joining the pod, that'd be based on the fact that Leicester won the Premier League 3 years ago. And
The first year we started
crazy.
the pod, yeah.
So our Leicester-ish position.
Prediction.
Prediction. I said Bournemouth make a fight for top 6. Wish I had said Burnley.
Right.
But, that was mine.
I had Watford to make the top 10.
Nope. Where was
But
Watford?
that was the closest one. They were sitting on 14th, and had they won and some other results gone their way, they could have actually made the top 10.
Yeah. I had Brighton and Hove Albion making the top 10.
So, I mean, it was Watford in 14th, Brighton in 15th. So they were all, everyone was kind of close.
I pushed
mean,
too hard.
even,
I should have said Bournemouth for top 10.
well,
I pushed too
but
hard.
even then, Bournemouth finished very well because Bournemouth finished in 12th.
And last year they
I was just
finished-
going off of the difference in where they finished. So we all were fairly close.
And last year,
nobody got it exactly
Bournemouth
on.
ended at 10th, correct? Middle of the table. I think it's why
Maybe, yeah.
I upped the prediction.
Oh, actually, I have that statistic.
I think it's why I pushed ahead with that one because I think that's where they ended.
Bournemouth did finish in ninth last year. Ninth.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why. I feel like I had to up the game. They got in 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. we did. It's interesting to look at these choices, and Salah definitely came out of nowhere for everybody.
Lacazette had just signed. Lukaku had just signed.
I can't wait to do the new ones.
Yeah,
it's going to be
interesting.
Awesome.
So now we move on to our fantasy league. Amongst the three of us, Ferris ended top, but our winner was Kim Kobayashi. I love the name some of the folks had. Cruel Summers FC was the name of his club. Second was Gunna's Ifras. I don't know how if I'm saying that right, but that was Dale Anderson, came in second. Third, favorite name of the season.
Yeah, totally
good.
Sporting Pork Slap. Managed by Amanda Scott.
Or do your?
She came, she came in third. Yeah. That's what it was. She comes in third. She had a strong run there at one point. I also do love Ferris's stupid name that he changed it to, Sanchester FC. What was it to start off with?
It was
Scorpion Kick something?
Mickey Scorpion Squad.
Yeah, so you changed it.
When they changed, it was supposed to be Sanchester United, but I couldn't get United all in there, so I had to go.
Sanchester FC. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But that was Ferris's team. I also do love Phil Ngari's club's team. Boom with an X, like the man Jaka Laka. I do love that name.
And the award for the less creative name goes to this guy.
Yeah, right. I put Blake's Brewtiful FC. And I came in at sixth. Random Heroes, led by manager Thomas Barnett, came in seventh. And Absolutely Fabregas, Ron, came in eighth.
And in typical form for myself,
you forgot about a third into the season.
I was on it for the first 4 weeks, doing awesome. And then, Totally forgot.
I had a moment that if I'd played the triple cap, I debated playing the triple captain.
I don't think I ever played that at all.
Didn't. If I had, I'd be in like first or second. It's at one point. It's so frustrating.
Oh no, I did play that one.
But Kim Kobayashi, I do believe we said we get a jersey to
within reasonable. It was like like under 100 or something.
You can't pick. Well, also you can't like. We gotta go
sign Giggs jersey from the 80s. Yeah, no, we're not.
Yeah. It's a New Jersey we're getting, not New Jersey the state. But like we can't go flying to like Norway and go to 3 caverns to find the mystical jersey. And although now that I've said it, I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, right.
I'm there.
But we'll reach out to you. I love that he on Twitter kind of dropped that like, hey, looks like I'm gonna win there. It's like we haven't
good for you, man.
We haven't forgotten. He
had, I believe he had Salah on his team, and he played Salah captaincy a couple times, and he scored like 5 goals and some of this. So he had some huge point scores. But good for you, Kim. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations.
Very well done.
And he always chimes in on the Japanese stuff that Ron's putting up because he used to live in Japan as well. So we'll reach out to you to figure out what jersey we're snagging your way, and then it looks like we got to get Ferris another jersey. We got him Fulham last year, which Fulham gets into the Premier League.
Oh, well, they lost to Derby 1-0 in the first leg of the playoffs.
The next one's tonight.
Oh,
tonight or tomorrow?
Now?
No.
Yeah, it's tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
we need to look that up.
I think it's probably tomorrow. Because they just played yesterday.
I thought it was the day before.
Maybe.
But whatever.
Yeah.
The playoff is still going.
So Ferris has got to pick a jersey.
Yep. With dirigible dingus on the back.
Yeah, we had Brewtiful Game on the back last time, but
we did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking of 2 right now.
Which are they?
In lieu of the upcoming Women's World Cup, a new blue.
Oh, U.S.
Lindsay Horan.
Oh yeah,
big fan of her. Or a Pulisic Dortmund kit.
Okay.
So
home away.
Oh, the home yellow.
The problem is if I get you a Dortmund kit, I want to put on the back Christian P.
I'd be fine with that. If you wanted to do that, I'd be fine with that. But I'm debating right now.
All right.
Well, we got some time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim, just shoot us a.
Kim, we'll drop you.
What do you say? Zap us.
Zap us a line, or we'll zap you one.
Rad.
Yeah, rad. Killer, dude.
Pot of neck throat.
No, pot of neck bone. I said that at work the other day again. And 2 people went, what? And the other guy from North Carolina was like, y'all ain't never heard of that?
Amazing.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on, man.
Come on.
Well,
man.
I'm sad to see it go.
Oh, I know. I don't want to let it go. I know
90 more days.
I know that within the next pod or two, we'll get pulled in by a Premier League vortex. And
But we do have the MLS is cranking right now.
We got FA Cup final. We got Champions League final right in the immediate future.
NWSL.
MLS is going on. NWSL.
And a little thing called a lesser known competition that's going on right now, the World Cup.
Yeah, which I got a fun thing for us. We'll talk about that maybe on the next episode. But I got a fun thing for us. For
so there's still a lot of soccer this summer.
Oh, man. World Cup. We've never done a World Cup before. We did the Euros.
That's true.
We
That's
did
true.
the ladies
the Euros?
No.
No.
We
No,
didn't.
we haven't done.
We haven't done a World Cup at all. So this will be fun.
Yeah, because we haven't decided to do the pod yet.
Yeah. This will be a blast.
Can't wait.
That means we're going to have a World Cup preview pod
Yep.
in the coming weeks. And what? It's like
June 16th was like
so a
England
month. We're a month out.
or was Iceland and somebody. So
Well,
you were
it's
close.
usually the opening. So
Yeah.
Russia and somebody, it's usually the
It's like
opening.
13th, I think, is the
Yeah.
start. Maybe in the 16th, the next couple games, and like England and Belgium. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Siri,
that's
when
right.
does the World Cup start?
England is in United Kingdom.
What?
Siri?
Siri's terrible today. I said, "Where's the World Cup? When is the World Cup?"
Maybe she heard him say England and whoever.
All right, I'll try it again.
Okay.
Siri, when is the World Cup?
The 2018 FIFA World Cup will be played in Russia between the 14th of June, 2018 and the 15th of July, 2018.
I love that you have it set as British Siri.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I do as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You-
way better
You
than
feel like James Bond when it
Yes,
talks
you
to
do.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she gives me reminders or directions, it's my own money penny. It's perfect.
Well, let's ask her who Many Penny is.
Oh, now this
Siri, who is Many Penny?
this isn't going to work for you.
Sorry, Michael, I don't see Manny Petty in your contacts.
Yeah, exactly. This is
You're getting a Manny penny?
Yeah, I said
You
it.
get a Manny Petty? Yeah.
Who is Money Penny?
Man,
She's broken.
you broke
Yeah.
her.
The answer is $0.01.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means.
Thanks. Well, what's a penny worth?
Oh, yeah.
0.01
Oh, yeah.
US dollars. Yeah, you didn't.
All right, we're done with Siri now.
Yeah, we're done.
Yours is a lot better than me.
So boom, there we go. That's our Premier League 2017-2018 wrap up. It's our third Premier League wrap up. 2 years
What a
for the
season.
Brewtiful Game. Glad we got to start off with a rare beer.
Yeah, that was good.
There you go, Ron.
Strong.
It's been
Good choice.
It's been upped on you. 9-year aged
All right,
rare beer. So
I got that. I'm gonna end up in some monastery.
Yeah, you are.
in Belgium somewhere.
I think I have a good beer for. It might not be my beer, but I've got a good. Maybe kind of something like this one that's like not that big when you split for Champions League final that pairs in well. Randomly, I've had it for a while. Been kind of sitting on it. So I got that one sitting
I'll
over there.
continue to stay local.
Oh man, I got another local one.
Yeah.
I wanted to have. If we'd had more time, I'd crack into that one. It sounds really good, but I don't think we'd taste it after this double IPA. So again, today's beers were from Lord Hobo Brewing Company.
Great name.
We got the consolation prize. And then we started off the pod with Dogfish Head's Worldwide Stout, the 2009 edition of that, which was delicious.
It was great. Good choices, all.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. They can find us the episodes as well as some of the writings we do for the Brewtiful Game at thebrutifulgame.com. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, on Untapped. If you want to leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, that would be really awesome. Take a picture of it, like a screenshot or whatever, zap it to us, and we will zap you in real life a Brewtiful Game koozie. Also, you can listen to us on All In Sports Talk at All In Sports Talk on Twitter. As you can find us along with several other soccer shows. And I believe that wraps us all up, gents.
Yeah.
Boom. 2 years.
It'll be great.
2 years and the end of another great Premier League season.
Absolutely. Ron, travel safe. I know you head out tomorrow.
ma'am.
I will. Thank you, gents.
All right. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.